Welcome to Off with Their Headlines. My name is Amanda Matta. I am your co-host, along with the very transitioning into fall, Meredith Constant. You look great,
Hello.
Meredith. You got a bow,
Thank
you got
you.
florals, you got a mock neck, a turtleneck. What is that?
It's a little mock neck. Yeah, it's my
It's
little
cute.
free people top that I got a couple years ago. Very florally. I'm trying to bring in this dark academia fall, even though it does not feel like that outside. I am
We're
manifesting it.
we're willing it into existence. Well, just be careful with your
Please.
manifesting because it is eclipse season also. So
That's true. I got to be
if you go
careful.
too hard, we'll be plunged into an eternal night or something. I don't know how
I
that
basically, I'm
actually
like
works.
Elsa from Frozen. I'm just freeze everything over in the summer.
And if you would like to see Meredith's dark academia floral top bow lipstick combination, we do have video episodes available on our Patreon right now. You can head over there. It's patreon.com/offwiththeirheadlines. Or if you're not that pressed about it and you figure you can get the details on Meredith's floral top at a later date, we do post the video episodes 1 week later on YouTube for free. So that is also Off with Their Headlines. We're pretty consistent with the handles, which is nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like we have worked in marketing. Also, though, over on our Patreon, just published this week was our Diana deep dive episode where we took a look at media coverage from the final year of her life. And let's just say it's wild. It is
Not
jaw
great.
dropping, some of the stuff that was written about her and the about face when she died. I mean, in terms of deep dives, it's a good one.
It's a good one. It will never go out of fashion to like remind people that, hey, the media was never normal about Diana. And the whiplash you get from just looking at that one final year of her life, it's truly insane. So thank you for walking us through that.
You're welcome. I'm here to bring positivity to your days.
Yes, absolutely. And I am positively sure we have a jam-packed episode today.
I see what you did
I'm
there.
getting better at the segues.
Wow, look at her. Sweetie, you're doing great.
Shall we? Shall we start with burying the lead because
Yes.
it's a doozy.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I brought this one today. It's actually from Fox News, which it's from their online commentary. I want to say something really quick, which is that I am a commentator on Fox News's like royal coverage, but not from this author. And oh boy, I don't know who approved this, but I have some questions for him. Do you want to read the headline or would you like me to?
I would love to read this
Go for it.
headline.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle compared to Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, warned by experts to stay silent to save image. Is that a threat?
That's literally, I read this. I was like, is this a threat? That's my first
Girl,
reaction.
do not fly on a small plane or out of Hyannis, okay? Just don't.
Do not let Harry get his pilot's license. I'm begging you.
Oh my gosh,
I know
this
he's
is-
surfing, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are quoting, it's told to us in the deck, we are quoting former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown, which is always going to be an interesting, spicy time, who draws striking comparisons between the Duchess of Sussex and, quote, America's princess. We're really interested in American royalty right now for, I think,
Yes.
many reasons. So we open, several royal experts believe Meghan Markle could learn powerful lessons from Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's brief life. Yeah. As
You know what I
we've
was
seen with
thinking?
Harry and
I was-
Meghan. Yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just thinking about that. You know what? She could also learn lessons from, I don't know, her mother-in-law's brief life. And I think
Well,
maybe
they
they did
tried
by
that.
leaving the royal family.
Didn't they try that angle a couple years ago and people like immediately shut it down because it was just too in your face? I feel like
Probably.
I remember that. Quote, as we've seen with Meghan and Harry, there was quite a lot about Carolyn that was a bit Meghan-ish, former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown said in CNN's new docuseries America's Prince. Brown compared the two women, one who married into America's Camelot and the other into Britain's royal family. There was glamour and elegance, but that came with so much pressure in terms of the monster of the media that she fell apart, really. We recap Bessette Kennedy and her husband, John F. Kennedy Jr., died in a plane crash in 1999. Then we quote another broadcaster, a British one, saying, Tina's words are a warning to Meghan. Meghan has the privilege of time to recognize the gems that she has and carefully plan her future. Life is not just about celebrity and building an empire. Prioritizing her family and finding her authentic self is the way forward. I'm so confused as to what we think she's been doing so far.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
Uh-huh. Carolyn sadly didn't have the opportunity to raise children. Meghan has a husband who adores her, two lovely children, and a super comfortable and luxurious home. Family is everything. Again, is this a threat? I think what happened was like Tina Brown was commenting on the likeness between Carolyn and Meghan in that they both married into these like very sturdy institutions and it wasn't really what they expected, right? I feel like that's a fair comparison. Just like it's a fair comparison to say Meghan and Wallace like were both these American divorcees who were faced with backlash and ridicule when they bagged a prince, for lack of a better phrase. But like that analogy can only go so far. And I feel like we've not only beaten the horse to death here, we're going to drag it through the streets a little farther because then we ask another quote unquote expert, Hillary Fordich, who said, I do think they were both, presumably Carolyn and Meghan, admired for their glamour. Both were viewed by the fashion industry as the types to admire and follow. They rose to fame by marrying into iconic families. They both experienced media frenzy based mainly on their respective appearances and personalities. It's difficult for anyone not born into fame to handle the press hounding. Again, I'm with you. This is where she loses me. They coped differently, though. Carolyn withdrew completely from the press, which maintained her mystique. In contrast, Meghan went on a publicity tour. I'm so sick of hearing publicity tour, privacy tour. Ugh. Her raw ambition for recognition and admiration backfired on her. At this juncture, the only proper route for Meghan would be for her to lie low. She'll never do that, though. Everything that appears to have meaning for her is the antithesis of service and devotion to duty. They would rather Meghan be afraid for her life, afraid to leave her house. They would rather her cower in fear than like own her story, own her narrative. It's beyond disgusting.
This is the grossest, stupidest article I think we've ever done. It is so nefarious. It is so dumb. It is such a tenuous connection. Another pretty big difference that we don't seem to bring up is that Carolyn Bessette was a fashion publicist. She worked with American fashion label Calvin Klein. She was not someone who, before marrying John F. Kennedy Jr., was a TV star or in the public view in that way. Her job was more behind the scenes. So it does make sense that this attention is something that she would want to shirk because that's not what she was looking to do. Meghan is stepping into the spotlight in a way that's kind of claiming her ground as I'm re-entering TV. I'm doing, cooking and lifestyle and all of that. But what I think this article is we have that CNN documentary, right? We also have the FX, I think it's a Ryan Murphy show coming out that's going to be about Carolyn Bessette and John F. Kennedy Jr. I think this is just a way to use these terms, these SEO terms that are really big in the media right now that people are clicking on. And what better way to drive clicks than to bring in Meghan Markle and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy? I mean,
Right.
It's gold.
And it's very clear that how this article was written was like, oh, Tina Brown said this. Let's get experts on the line to weigh in. And the question would have been framed as like, what do you think of the similarities?
Also, as the person writing this story, the job of a journalist is not to say, here's what one side says, here's the other. It's to also add in context. For example, you should be adding in, okay, this is actually what Meghan has done. This is what Meghan has said, because you're just presenting these quotes, which honestly are nonsense, especially
They
from
are.
that British broadcaster.
Yes.
It's antithetical to what's happening right now.
And here's a perfect example of that. Chard says Carolyn shone in an era of glamour and aspiration. She was known as kind, without ego, and was loved. Meghan, unfortunately, is not loved by all. Yeah, no one is. Her popularity in recent years has plummeted. With who? Helena. Contrary to her husband's belief, she is not chased by paparazzi. Unfortunately, inauthentic traits define her. This is where, as a journalist, I would insert her baby shower, where there was paparazzi camped outside that hotel waiting for pictures of her. The car chase, which, like, as much as you want to pick apart the emotional language in that statement, did happen. Like, that wasn't just a matter of fiction, right? Like, this is where, as a journalist, and I'm using the term loosely, you would insert exactly that commentary you were talking about. Yeah, it's really rough. It's really, really rough. And there's a picture in here of Meghan. I don't know where it's from. She literally looks like she's in a mugshot. Did you see this? It's a Samir
Yeah.
Hussein wire image. She's staring directly, not down the camera lens, but her eyes are slightly off focus. Could have been from a royal event, but it's like really weird that this is a picture that we chose.
Weird because it's that with this like dark blue background. It does almost look like a mugshot or a very, very artsy student ID photo for like Emerson or
Right,
something.
right. Bizarre that this
Stupid.
was publicized or published. 0 out of 10. That's all I have to say about that.
Yep. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Do
Yep.
better. All right. Shall we move into some of the actual news from the past
Okay. Did you
week?
just read what I wrote?
I did.
I have to tell the listeners when we put together our outline, there is an obit section, which is typically things that we just want to die.
In hindsight, it shouldn't have gone
Rough.
here.
Amanda writes, literally, Duchess of Kent. And
Girl.
I write, oh my God, Amanda literally took me out. It's a little dark humor, but it's funny. It's funny.
Not that we're celebrating it. I just needed a box to put it in, and you put Kate's hair in main story, so main story was taken.
You could have removed that. I am so sorry, Duchess of Kent. Forgive me for I have sinned. I have to say, I need to tell you how little I know about some of the older working royals.
Perfect.
Because I asked someone, I'm like, wait,
I know what you're going to say.
Is she the racist one?
So many people asked me this. So I posted an explainer story pretty much immediately. Like, hey, don't know who needs to hear this, but she is not
me.
Princess Michael of Kent. This is not the
me.
woman who wore the blackamoor brooch to meet Meghan. This is the woman who married Princess Michael's husband's brother, if that helps you.
Got it. It does.
Okay.
And this woman apparently was like very lovely. So I'm sorry.
Beloved. Yes.
I am sorry for this woman.
Sorry to this woman. Can I have
Rest
a couple
in power.
minutes to introduce you to the Duchess of Kent?
Please.
All right. So she did pass away last week at the age of 92 at Kensington Palace. She was born in 1933 in Yorkshire. She was the fourth child and only daughter of a baronet, Sir William Worsley. So just a note on baronets. Because I'm writing this section in my book right now, they're a rung of nobility that's like underneath the titled nobles, but above commoners. So they have these titles that they can pass down through their line, but their children don't get titles of their own. So like if you're the daughter of an earl, you would be called Lady, or like her name's Catherine. She would be Lady Catherine if her dad was like unrung up on the noble hierarchy. But because he's a baronet, his children do not get to use titles. So she's from an old noble family. They have a lot of money. They have a family seat, Hovingham Hall in Yorkshire, but she does not have a title. So technically she is a commoner. It's one of those fun things about the aristocracy. She was actually descended through the line of Oliver Cromwell, which is a fun fact that I...
Oh, that is fun.
She actually was educated at finishing school. This is the era that she's growing up in. She didn't get formal education. She went to Queen Margaret's School in York, and then at Miss Hubler's finishing school in Oxford, she studied music. She really fell in love with music. She learned to play the piano, the organ, and the violin. She started organizing concerts there. And when I say this is like a different era of education, there were 8 students at Miss Hubler's finishing school, and there were 3 teachers, one who taught French literature, painting, and history, a French woman who taught cookery, and a Viennese music teacher. So
that one woman is doing a lot of heavy lifting though. And also, why isn't the French woman teaching
French? Yeah, great question. So she goes to finishing school in Oxford. Then presumably she goes home to live at her family's home in Yorkshire, where she meets Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. Now, this is the Queen's cousin. If you think back to the Jubilee, I'm sad to say, was that really old guy that was on the balcony with her that people thought was her husband, but no, that was her cousin.
Can I just ask that we name people different things?
No. Denied. Not possible.
It's so confusing.
Edward, George, Charles. Those are your 3 choices.
That's what you
William,
get.
I guess. Henry. 5 choices. So he is a grandson of George V and the eldest son of basically Queen Elizabeth II's uncle, Prince George, Duke of Kent. Yeah. So he was in Yorkshire at the time because he was stationed at Catterick Camp, which is a major military garrison in North Yorkshire, which is near Catherine's family home. They met at a costume party where he apparently was in Tudor attire. So he was dressed like Henry VIII.
Ominous.
Yeah, I guess a romance sparked because the press was already speculating about an engagement by 1958. They didn't get married until 1961. And so I was wondering, like, what held things up? I found out 2 things. The Queen gave birth to Prince Andrew in 1960. So I was wondering if that was maybe one of those cases where nothing else can happen until
Andrew
the monarch
really
just fucks everything up. Yeah.
He just ruins everything.
But I also found Princess Marina who was originally a princess of Greece and Denmark and is Edward's mother. She was then the Duchess of Kent, and she didn't like that Catherine was a commoner, even though both her parents were either baronets or the child of a baronet. She didn't have a title of her own, so that was a sticking point for a while. But eventually, I guess she consented, and Edward proposed to Catherine with an engagement ring with an oval sapphire and diamonds on either side. So she was a trendsetter way before Diana got her
I was about
sapphire
to say,
engagement
that
ring.
sounds very familiar.
People really liked her. The reaction to the news that the Duke of Kent was getting married was a big deal because he's, a royal duke. He is only the second British prince since George III to marry a woman without a title. So it's nice. We're bringing in some of that modern sensibility here.
Trend-setting couple.
Yep. So they get married in 1961. Princess Anne is one of the bridesmaids. Her dress is by an Irish designer. I did put a picture of it in here because I think it's beautiful. It's very of the time, very 1961.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love it.
It has this very stiff scoop neck on it. It's made from 237 yards of white patterned silk gauze. It has this almost like a bell shape to it, round skirt, and a double train. So not just one train, two trains, and it's 15
Get it,
feet
girl.
long. Yeah.
I am so into this look, but I love a 60s wedding vibe. So this is
It's
just
so good.
mwah.
Yeah, and so people were really excited about this wedding. They were already calling her the White Rose of York in the press. So we were really excited to have a new royal duchess entering the fold. Fittingly, her bouquet was made up of white roses because that is the emblem of the House of York. And she's getting married in Yorkshire, where her family's from. It all comes full circle. Their wedding, among other things, is credited with introducing King Juan Carlos of Spain to his future wife, Princess Sophia, who we did talk about in the Greek royal family episode. She is the mother of the King of Spain. However, we know on Off With Their Headlines that this royal couple first met actually in 1954 on that cruise that was organized by King Paul I and Queen Frederica of Greece.
We sure do.
Even though they got married in May 1962, and I'm guessing the sources are just like looking at the dates. They're like, oh, they were both at this wedding and then they got engaged and then they got married. This must be where they met. No, they had met 8 years previously at the Cruise of the Kings. So a little inside knowledge for you there.
Thank you.
Anyway, the Duke and Duchess of Kent, they go on to have 3 children, Lord Nicholas Windsor, Lady Helen Taylor, and George, Earl of St. Andrews, as well as 10 grandchildren. I know. Catherine talked a lot in the 90s about some health challenges she experienced, and we learned she had first a pregnancy terminated in 1975 because she had contracted rubella or German measles. And then she gave birth to a stillborn child who she had already named Patrick in 1977. This loss sent her into a severe period of depression, which she actually spoke about publicly in 1997. She gave an interview to the Daily Telegraph. She said, "I had no idea how devastating such a thing could be to any woman. It has made me extremely understanding of others who suffer a stillbirth." The Daily Telegraph actually revealed that people at the time of the miscarriage had reported it was in the 5th month or something of the pregnancy. And at this time, the public learned it had actually been the 9th month. Like, this was a baby that
Yeah.
we were naming, so it was devastating. She said in the interview that in a bid to escape her grief and this depression, she threw herself into royal duties, but she now thinks that that was a mistake. She said it was a fairly natural reaction to want to get back into an ordered pattern of life, to stop yourself thinking too much. You do what you feel is right for you, but I don't think I gave myself time to get over it. Probably I didn't grieve properly.
Ooh, feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really a groundbreaking way, I think, for a royal woman, especially to talk about health. And I just thought that was interesting, especially since it's
incredible.
around something that's very sensitive, the loss of a
Yeah.
pregnancy. As a royal, the Duchess was like a very, very beloved public figure. She supported charities like Childline and Passage, which supports people experiencing homelessness. She also served as president of many music organizations. The Royal Northern College of Music is kind of chief among them. She was also the director for the National Foundation for Youth Music from 1999 to 2007. And here's where I think most people remember the Duchess of Kent from. She gave out the Wimbledon trophies for like many, many years in a row.
Oh.
And there's a very famous episode that happens in 1993 where the women's single final has been decided and she actually hugs tennis star Jana Novotna. I'm so sorry, I wasn't watching tennis in the 90s. She loses the final to Steffi Graf this year, the German tennis
Steffi.
player. And Jana, I'm so sorry. She's weeping, and the Duchess of Kent just like gives her a hug on the tennis screen. So people considered that like very humanizing, very touching.
You think royals don't hug? Get out of town.
The Duchess of Kent, she's a trendsetter. What can I
We
say?
needed more of this energy.
Yep. She considered herself shy. She said, I can still be very shy walking into a room full of strangers. I know how to do it, but I have never gained confidence. It's one of the reasons I am always trying to boost other people's self-esteem because I know what it's like not to have it.
It kind of gives me a little bit of Diana vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I
Definitely.
mean? In terms of just wanting to relate to people, understanding what it feels like to kind of feel awkward and out of place and all of those different things. And yeah, this woman's
Yeah.
great.
She's
Why
great.
am I just learning about her?
Well, maybe because in 1994, she was, some people will say the first member of the royal family. She was actually like the second to convert to Catholicism since
Oh boy.
the Acts of Settlement in first 1685 and then 1701 made it impossible for you to inherit the throne if you were Catholic or married to one. The first person to convert was actually a granddaughter of Queen Victoria. She married a Spanish prince and then converted after her marriage, but she gets forgotten. So sometimes sources will say the Duchess of Kent was the first member of the royal family to convert. She wanted to convert to Catholicism, as she told the BBC, because I do love guidelines and the Catholic Church offers you guidelines. I've always wanted that in my life. I like to know what's expected of me. I like being told, you shall go to church on Sunday, and if you don't, you're in for it.
Okay.
She knows what she needs, and I respect that about her.
Me too.
She revealed a couple years later, so she converts in 1994. 97, she reveals she did make a point of telling the queen personally about her decision. She said, she was most understanding. I'm right on the edge of the royal family, so it wasn't going to affect anyone, but I did want to explain. So,
yeah, imagine having to go to the queen and be like, I just like don't know about this whole Church of England thing.
not
I
so
mean, it was
sure.
established on dubious ground to begin with. I kind of think
Okay.
the head of the church is the Pope, not you. Sorry. Can we
Sorry.
still have tea?
Can we still be friends? I actually had this thought the other day, like as an adult and like a royal commentator, whatever you want to call ourselves, I've always wondered, like, do the monarchs genuinely think that they are handpicked by God to not only lead the country, but like lead a church? And this is something I've thought about, like, do I email the Church of England and ask to speak with somebody about this? Because I have questions.
Why not?
I would love to know what the philosophy and the doctrine is on that.
It would be interesting to know if it changed because with the whole they're chosen by God to rule the people. Well, that kind of had to change because now there's parliament. So
Right.
if that kind of shifted in a way, did
Why
it
do we hang on
also
to
shift
this? Yeah.
with the Church of England? I don't know.
Right. Or are we just like throwing them a bone, like letting them I don't know. I would love to, if you know anybody who's high up in the Church of England who can answer my questions, send
If
them
you're
my way.
listening and you are high up in the Church of England, give us a call. Reach out.
Maybe Justin Welby. I heard he's retired and doesn't have a lot to do. Maybe he'll answer. Anyway, so this could have been a big deal because of the Act of Settlement that bars anyone in the royal family marrying a Catholic or who converts to their place in the line of succession. However, there's a little loophole, which means it doesn't apply to marrying somebody who is an Anglican at the time of your marriage who then converts. So the Duke of Kent did not lose his place in the line of succession when she became Catholic. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, did reduce her royal duties in 2002, and at that point she decided not to use her HRH, her Royal Highness status, which she had gotten because she married a prince. From that point onward, she was known as either Catherine Kent, Catherine Duchess of Kent, or to the students at the primary school where she began teaching music, she was just known as Mrs. Kent. And apparently the students had no idea that they were being taught by a literal royal duchess. So that's super cute. She also gave piano lessons in a rented studio flat near Kensington Palace, where she had her official residence. So we will let the Duchess go teach music, but we will not allow commoners to come take music lessons with her in Kensington
Hell
Palace.
no.
Or maybe that's something about like blurring the lines, making money through your royal title.
True.
I don't know. Another fun fact about her, I found she loved rap music. Remember, she is still, even though she's given up royal duties, she's still a patron for a lot of music charities. And she gives a radio interview in 2005 telling the world that she like really enjoys rap. She doubles down in 2022, expressing, quote, her love and penchant for gangsta rap, typified by Eminem and Ice Cube.
I am trying to imagine her listening to Stan by
Mhm.
Eminem or cleaning out my closet, but she has a point. You have to be very good with words, turn of phrases. There's a lot of it's very hard to create
It's very
good rap
technical.
music. It
Uh-huh.
is. It's beautiful, actually. I love that she
She
understands that
appreciated
art
it.
form. You go,
Yep.
girl.
Through the years, especially after she retired from royal duties, she did experience health struggles, including celiac disease and the Epstein-Barr virus, which has symptoms that resemble chronic fatigue syndrome. So, as she's kind of getting on in years, she starts to dwindle down her public appearances. She did appear at both William and Harry's weddings and Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee celebrations, but she did not attend the Platinum Jubilee, Queen Elizabeth's funeral, or the coronation most recently. The last time we saw her in public was last October when she marked her husband, the Duke of Kent's 89th birthday. She appeared in a wheelchair outside their Kensington Palace residence as he was, I think it was like a military salute or a band playing outside their front door. So that was the last time she was seen in public. And the palace did announce she had passed away last week. Her funeral is scheduled for today as we're recording Tuesday. No word on whether Harry's going. You will know the same time we know. She did receive a lot of tributes from the royal family who went into a period of official mourning when her death was announced. The prime minister said she brought compassion, dignity, and a human touch to everything she did. That was like my favorite official statement tribute. I did not like Will and Kate's. That was just like thoughts and prayers. Her thoughts go out.
Yeah, it was really
It was very
weird.
pro forma, yeah. Her funeral was the first royal funeral to be held at Westminster Cathedral, and it was also the first Catholic funeral in modern royal family history. They had an Anglican dean participating in the service because this is still the Church of England. This is still the royal family. But the mass portion of the funeral service was presided over by Cardinal Vincent Nichols. And she is being buried, laid to rest in the burial ground at Frogmore. So rest in peace. She was a great lady. I think everyone liked her.
She sounds wonderful. It reminded me that a listener reached out to me to say, "Can we do some more deep dives on these people, the Gloucesters, the Gloucesters." It's my Massachusetts pronunciation of it. But that, maybe doing some more deep dives on some of these lesser known working royals, older royals, just who was in the fold. So that could be fun.
Yeah. I did want to bring in an as seen in the comments section mention because on the royal family's official post announcing the death of the Duchess of Kent, the number one comment when I opened it this morning to like get the dates of when it was announced. I don't know if this is based on the algorithm or if this is actually the top comment, but the first one that I saw was, "I'm sorry, who is she? Daughter? Wife? Dot dot dot? Question mark." And first of all, have some respect. This is Catherine,
Rude.
and she loved rap music. Second of all, Google is your friend. Third of all, the caption literally like gives you all the information on this post. Like if
You
you've
just
ever
need to
read
use your eyeballs.
if you've ever
Read.
read a death announcement, like, okay, we're calling her the Duchess of Kent, right? The caption says, the Duke of Kent and his family will be saddened, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think we can extrapolate, oh, she's probably married to the Duke of Kent. Like, so I just feel like you have all the tools to succeed in the year 2025. There is no excuse for being so rude to my girl, Catherine. I'm sorry, who is she?
It's incredible how, despite all the resources, we are becoming even more illiterate and have less critical thinking skills.
Right. And like, I do agree. Most of the royal captions could be better, one households in particular. This one, I do not understand. I'm sorry, just take your L and swipe to the next post. That's insane.
Incredible. Let's
All
go
right.
over to fashion, which
Yeah.
you got some fashion stuff to talk about. We have
Just a little
Sophie
bit.
in Canada. What's going on?
So, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, wife to Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, in case somebody doesn't know who that is and wants to leave us a comment.
Turtle talker,
Turtle talker
friend
extraordinaire.
of Jonathan.
Okay. His wife, Sophie has been in Canada. She did a whole little mini tour where she's visiting some of her patronages. She's celebrating. Some of them, I think, are having big anniversaries this year. Her trip coincided with the announcement of the Duchess of Kent's death. And so I was looking at the fashion from this trip through this lens because it was announced that the royal family would go into mourning when the Duchess of Kent passed away. Sophie's wardrobe, either it was planned with the knowledge that like the Duchess of Kent was slowly fading and this was like likely to happen, or she pivoted. Like this would have been the quickest fashion pivot I've ever seen in my life because she was rocking like a dark navy most of the time. There were a couple of dresses that were floral, but even they like were kind of subdued, which is within the protocols of royal mourning attire. There were even some outings where she was wearing all black, which we don't normally see on royals unless they are in this period of mourning. So props to Sophie. I don't know if she styles herself or if she has a team, but like the pivot and the way that the
That's
outfits still
impressive.
looked like her, yeah, were very impressive. But I did want to bring in, there was one article from Hello that I
I think I
really
found this one
enjoyed.
too.
They're talking about like her style on the tour. The headline is Duchess Sophie rocks 580-pound first jacket of the season, and it's cropped. So
My.
not cropped. So I just find it really funny. The weather is starting to get chillier as we leave a glorious summer behind, and the Duchess of Edinburgh has set her wardrobe to autumn mode. On Saturday, Duchess Sophie, 60, was seen wearing her first jacket of the month as she stepped out to visit the Opening Gates Therapeutic Riding Center in Alberta. Prince Edward's wife, rocked the tweed jacket in indigo from Frame, which retails for £580 and features a collarless neckline and statement buttons. So she did wear the jacket a couple of times in a row. She paired it with different outfits, but then we get to a discussion of how the cropped jacket is a subtle but deliberate choice. By cutting the line shorter, the silhouette feels lighter, less rigid, and more approachable than the traditional longer blazer.
Shut up.
She wore it. It looks like a
Shut up.
denim collarless jacket. Like I
It's a
can't
denim
describe
collarless jacket.
to you
It's
how
fine.
it's yeah.
But note,
Um,
she's rocking it. It's not an eye-watering, eye-dropping amount or,
mm,
it's
frugal
not.
find.
Yeah.
And it's the first jacket of the season. I would love articles to be written about like when I wear the first pair of sandals of the summer season or something. But
Truly.
alas, it'll never happen for me. I love
One can
Sophie's style. Sorry.
For me, she's really hit or miss, but I also feel like she's more approachable. She does look
Mhm.
like, your friend's mom.
Yeah.
Like she's
That's
really
what I
got
love,
it
like,
going on.
even when she's on an engagement or a tour, like her outfits still, you can tell that there are things that she wears and like is really comfortable in. Her off-duty,
Yeah, she
on-duty
looks
looks.
kind of normal, and I like that.
Yeah, she's not chasing the trends, even though it is a trendy cropped jacket she's wearing on this occasion. But I don't know. I liked it. I wanted to put a note in there for both Sophie and our Canadian followers. Did you know you had a royal in your midst this past week?
So, is it time to move on to a hairier situation? That was such low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I don't even want to follow it with a pun of my own because I don't feel like it deserves it.
I know. Not to tease this topic.
Stop.
Is there a pun for backcomb?
I feel like this is going to be a highlight of the episode.
I'm wigging out a little bit, but we need to have an extension to this podcast and discuss Catherine's hair. We must get into it. We need to
Not
talk
her
about
heir.
Kate's hair.
Not Prince George, her.
Not her hair, but her hair. We can't stop thinking about it. So if
No
you
one
live
can.
under a rock, which God bless you, you might have missed this. You probably didn't. But Catherine and William returned to royal working duties after 7 weeks away on Thursday the 4th. And the main topic of conversation was Kate's hair because it was a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm
and
so
this
sorry.
is unusual for Kate, who really doesn't have a lot of bad hair days, but she walked out in blonde hair that no one could decide what to call it. Mushroom blonde was my favorite.
That was a good one.
It was very high near the crown and hung like two curtains around her face. It was
something was not installed correctly, or the wind got her, or she fussed with it to a point where it was. Now, for only a brief time, I will say, was it that bad? Other pictures from this engagement where they were at the Natural History Museum in London, it looked totally normal, if not just like in an unflattering blonde shade. Um,
The back of that hair, when I saw the back, I
it was like
gasped.
3 different colors, my girl.
And
Who
it
did
was
this to you?
chunky. It was so bad. And the most egregious thing was the way the media tried to gaslight us into thinking
Literally.
that this was going to start a trend.
Here's what to ask your hairstylist for. Can I say I'm going tomorrow as you're listening to this to get my balayage touched up before my wedding? And I had a moment where I was like, it would be really funny if I went and showed them a picture of Kate and was like, give me this
Can I
so we
have
can
this?
figure out what happened. I would have done it if my wedding wasn't in 3 weeks.
Can I tell you that I reached out to my hairstylist and said, I think it's time to do my all over color because I do that twice a year. And I think I need to do a little bit of a cut because I'm having a lot of identity crisis issues after Kate's hair. And I
Kate
just
changed
need
her
to
hair
make
color.
sure mine is, on track. So she is inspiring hairstylist visits, but maybe not for the right reasons. So then what happens is she's seen at the World Cup rugby match cheering on England's women's team on Saturday. And new hairdo this, a lot of people claimed it was just pulled back. I did not buy that for a second.
You think she got a gloss?
I do, because on Monday we see Kate again and her hair is decidedly darker.
Different color.
I think somebody, they clearly react to what people are saying in the press and realize, despite what the British media might be saying, people on the internet think this looks like trash. And it's not sending the visual cue that we want. And it's changed.
And that's well-covered territory. I made a video about it. You talked about it, how like Kate's hair is integral to her public persona as a royal. And that's cash money, right? That is currency. Having that appearance, which is instantly synonymous with regality, aristocracy, being a bouncy blowout queen, right? The thing that we're like not talking about, I think, as she's changed her hair is the fact that it literally dominated the news cycle as she and William made a return to public engagements. And at first I was like, oh, this is intentional because they thought it would go over really well and like force people to tune in. Then when people didn't like it, we had to pivot and it was suddenly bad press attention and we were getting clicks for the wrong reasons, which is part of why I think we pivoted back to brunette so quickly.
I think that, along with Harry's jam-packed schedule in the UK, is why Kate
Do you think he did pack jam? Sorry.
Definitely. Listen, he's spreading himself a little thin.
The marmalade's so good. That's not a pun, but it's just like I have to say
the apricot. I'm like,
oh my God, I'm obsessed.
It's so good. Anyway, I think part of the reason she shows up with William is, number one, to take press attention away.
They've been
Harry's
out
in town
so much this week. Weird.
If you want William and Kate to work, you just need Harry to come into town, but also to show this hair, which Tom Sykes wrote an article for the Daily Beast. It's a great
God
piece.
bless that man.
He says it. He mentions it all. So there's this one particular quote where he says it was a more successful outing for her new blonde locks. That's Monday's visit with William. Than their public debut at an event in London this week, when the new look was dutifully praised by the mainstream British media, but monstered online, with critics saying she looked like she was wearing a wig or hair extensions, both denied by her office. So once again, and this is a long line of the palace speaking up, complaining, explaining, one could say, which they are never supposed to do, when it comes to any modifications to Kate's appearance. This happened when someone said she had baby Botox. This happened when there was speculation that she was wearing extensions back in 2011. And I actually went back to this time. So this was at an event where Kate is spotted with a noticeable white line near her hairline. And a lot of people think this is a weft. This is an extension. And Clarence House comes out to say, no. That is a white scar related to a childhood injury, surgery. It's a private matter. We're not going to discuss it.
It's like, well, you are, though.
Yeah. And also, wow, shutting down questions by bringing in health matters. This sounds familiar, but I realized something. They didn't say that Kate wasn't wearing hair extensions. They said that the scar was not related to hair extensions.
Tricky.
And it's so weird because you're like, why would they lie about hair extensions if she has them or not? Because I'm sorry, this woman probably wears hair extensions. She most likely wears them from time to time. When you get older, your hair gets thinner. And for all the people saying, you know what, this shame on you. You guys should not be talking about this. Catherine went through cancer. She went through chemo for precancerous cells. I'm not
No,
saying that
no,
isn't serious.
no.
What? Am I
Preventative chemotherapy. Precancerous cells has been denied by the palace. You won't.
what
No, I'm
is
just kidding.
it?
So it was
See, nobody
I go
knows.
back to the initial right, nobody knows. I go back to the initial statement. Cancer had been present when they did her biopsy or whatever.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm embarking on a course of preventative chemotherapy, which I've already started, blah, blah, blah. From that to I'm in remission this year, like something happened that we weren't told about, right? Because she never said, I have cancer, or the wording was messed up in one or both of those statements, right? Like the messaging is so unclear from Kensington Palace. Regardless of the topic at hand, it could be hair extensions, it could be cancer treatment.
Exactly.
We never get a straight answer. Exactly what you were saying. They never really outright denied her wearing hair extensions, just like they never really outright denied that she had gotten treatment at MD Anderson. And I will die on this hill because I
Girl,
still
you
get
were
people
there
in my
for it.
DMs. I still get people in my DMs. I saw her, like she was there. And then Kensington Palace came out and said, she is not currently receiving treatment there. Like that might be true. But was she in the past? Anyway, sorry.
It is so suspicious because I think it becomes okay, that they can lie about these photos, right? The Photoshop photo, the kill notice that was issued on that photo of
And if they
Catherine and the
hadn't
children.
gotten called out on it, like, we never would have heard what
No.
happened there.
So it's like they will lie or obfuscate
Half
about
truth,
the
yeah.
weirdest things. But I think there is something about Catherine's hair, like you said, it is so integral to who she is. And visual cues are such a big deal to the monarchy that something about cheating almost, and I don't think it's cheating to wear extensions, but there's something about it
Every public
that's a
figure has
betrayal, I think.
well, and Tom Sykes says this in the article, I'm sure you have it there. He says,
Yes,
like, the monarchy has I quoted this in a video too, the monarchy has, like, instilled visual cues like this with near mythic import, I think are the words he uses. They can hardly be surprised when people suddenly decide that those visual cues matter, and that's why there was such a
exactly.
reaction to Kate, and people are saying, like, "No, it's not that deep, it's just bad hair dye or bad extensions or bad wig or whatever." It's like, I would argue it is that deep. Thank you very much.
I think it is too. And kind of back to what I was saying, so many people, tried to shut down conversation about Kate's hair. It kind of reminded me of the March 2024 when
Yeah.
Catherine's video came out
Huh?
about her diagnosis or what she was dealing with, and people turned on people on the internet. And it kind of reminded me of that because it was that shame on you. She might have lost her hair from chemo, etc. But she's
She has
told us
actually told us she didn't, right,
that she didn't.
right.
And it's not that there's any problem with wearing a wig or extensions. It's the fact that the palace is so weird about it. But you really see how reactive they are versus proactive. And I do wonder if any of this has to do with her hairstylist, Natasha, leaving. Not
Well, so
hairstylist, her
yeah.
stylist.
Yeah, her stylist, Natasha. Yeah, I think that's in the Tom Sykes article as well as a source saying, like, Kate was crazy to let her go, Natasha was crazy to leave, and this is what happens when you don't have that person in your corner. They described Natasha as being the only person willing to say, "Maybe not," to Kate,
You
which is
need
what
that person.
everyone on the internet is saying, like, if she had a gay friend, if she had a black friend, like, this never would have happened, and that's a funny way to phrase it, but it's, I think, true. Like, you need that person who's willing to tell you the truth if you look a little nuts.
I agree. And I also just want to quickly circle back because I know people are going to ask us about this. There is a photo from that event, that first event, where Kate is holding an umbrella and is unfortunately caught smiling
Yeah.
maniacally while children are screaming and crying in the rain. I actually want to say that I went and I watched a video
Yeah.
from The Sun, which at first, the way they were framing it is like, Kate, so she cracks a joke. And it's like, give me a break. But when you watch it all out, you can see a woman who's like, oh my God, this is bad. And then she's trying to kneel down and she's trying to kind of calm the kids. And she's looking, and it looks like she's yelling back or talking to someone about umbrellas or something because more umbrellas come out. And they're clearly trying to do something about the situation. I think this is an example of a photo capturing a
Yeah.
really unfortunate moment because there are also photos of Kate with the umbrella and there's a kid like smiling and looking up. Oh, I just like, we don't like it. There are people that don't like it when it happens to their favorites. So it's a bad photo. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look great.
I question, I mean, the engagement was centered around this, like, outdoor garden, so there was no way to move the engagement inside, but, like, did we not look at the weather forecast? I don't know, it's London, like, you always have to be prepared for downpours. is the farthest I will go in being like devil's advocate here. But yeah, I
Yes.
think the pictures, you're absolutely right. Like Kate leaves black children out in the rain and she hogs an umbrella. It's like, well, like you're seeing a split second of an episode that probably took 30 seconds to resolve, right? It started
Because if you
raining. What do you
watch
want her
the
to do?
video from a bystander,
Yeah.
you really see someone who's like, "Oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Let me try to get down to the kids' level. Let me try to calm them down. Let me try to make a joke. Let me look back. Is anyone gonna do anything about this?
Yeah.
Smile on my face because I don't want the kids to freak out." It doesn't read as that standalone photo does. So I just
Right.
encourage people, when
Also,
you see a
William was there
photo,
too,
play it
just
through.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Why didn't that man doesn't have hair. Go
Why does he care if he gets wet?
get your umbrella over there, William.
All
So
jokes. All
I just
jokes.
yeah, I just think that part of it was a little unfair.
I mentioned that the hair started to detract from the actual story of the day, right? That Will and Kate were back at their duties. And this reminded me to look back. There was actually an episode from Diana's royal life where there's a headline in InStyle from last year. They describe it as Princess Diana once made Queen Elizabeth furious by wearing special hairstyle. Diana vowed her hair would never again be the center of attention after upsetting Elizabeth. So I found this very interesting because this kind of thing, we see it happening in the royal family more than we might like to admit, where someone dominates the headlines or is in the headlines for the wrong reason. And there is a quick pivot to correct
Mhm.
whatever it was that was out of place. So this happened in 1984. Diana's former hairstylist, not the one that called people evil for talking about Kate's hair, but a different one, Richard Dalton, he styled Diana's hair for the state opening of Parliament in 1984. Her hair was still short at the time, but he kind of styled it into something that looked like an updo. She has like the side swept bangs and like a French twist almost at the back. Um, and she's wearing the Spencer family tiara. Diana's fans adored the look, but the head royal was less than pleased. Diana's glamorous new hairdo made all the front pages the next day, totally eclipsing the solemnity of the occasion. The princess learned her lesson that day and vowed her hair would never again be the center of attention and distract people away from the work of the royals. From that point on, I only ever cut her hair a quarter of an inch at most. Her style was simple and flattering. Because it was short, I could have her ready in 15 minutes. Now, that's like a very dramatic example of this, but Diana was somebody, for all that she stood out in her later years, in the beginning of her time with the royal family, she understood that the institution is the star, right? Just like Meghan was reportedly mortified at, making the front pages at an event where all of the royal family was present and not just her and Harry.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, Diana apparently understood the power of optics and that her role wasn't always to be the center of attention. And her hair certainly wasn't supposed to be the center of attention if she could help it. She just had that natural star power.
Some people have it.
Yep.
That it factor. I just want to end this by saying there was one article that I'm so dumb because I thought, wow, somebody gets it. It's an article from Hello
Hello.
magazine. The headline reads, Princess Kate's first public outing in weeks overshadowed by new hair. We break it down. And I said, oh my gosh, they're actually going to talk about this, kind of dichotomy here with the focus on the visuals, despite, Kate, you're not supposed to focus so much on what she looks like, focus on her work. No, 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 no. The whole article is just a long timeline of Kate's hair. Not only is her first outing overshadowed by her new hair, this article overshadows her first outing with her hair. So just well done.
Crazy, crazy. I saw one from people that was like, see her hair from every angle. And the second picture is the back. And I'm just like, this is not doing what you thought it was going to do.
Stop lying to us. Stop it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going to say earlier, speaking of men who are losing their hair, Prince Harry, but then we had to insert that story section there. Anyway, someone's not going to be happy about that. Anyway, moving on. Prince Harry has been in the UK this week for first the Well Child Awards and then for some other engagements with charities of which he is the patron. We still, as of today, Tuesday, don't have word on whether he's meeting with King Charles. What's your prediction, Meredith? Do you think he will? Will he or won't he?
My prediction is no. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening.
Stop
and I think we're going to
trying
see
to make fetch happen.
I think we're going to see a lot of articles from different principals' perspectives about why this did not happen.
Mhm.
And everyone just selling kind of their you know, their side of it.
I was thinking this visit, I don't know if it's because of Kate's hair, but there hasn't been as much press and as much will they won't they about Harry meeting his father. Are we getting tired of that narrative? I don't know,
You
cuz
know what?
his lawsuits are over, so you can't really write the in the midst of lawsuit headlines. You can't really write in the midst of the row with his brother because like that's been there done that. Are we kind of over it? Do we need something new?
I think we might need something new. I also think perhaps it's looking not great that William is so against this. I just think something about it doesn't read well, like this whole situation. And
So we're not trying to draw attention to it.
I think we're not trying to, oh my God, sorry. I just read a headline while searching for the Prince Harry stuff and I want to vomit everywhere.
Please.
I'm just going to quickly read it to you. I'm not reading this piece because it's a male exclusive. This is from Amanda Platel. What a lady.
Great. Yeah.
It's called Prince Harry is a Shameless Hypocrite. I know the real reason he visited the Queen's grave. Do not be taken in by his act. Why are you such an asshole? You're an asshole.
Like,
I
I'm sorry,
understand
you're
this
a
is what
dick.
you do to make money. And congrats, because for $1.99 a month, I could find out your theory.
Or you can just put it in the archive website.
Or you could put it in the archive and I can find out what drivel you made up to try and come up with a nefarious publicity-seeking reason that Harry visited his dear beloved late grandmother's grave. You absolute asshole. I'm sorry. This is just, it's so gross.
Is the real reason, you know what,
I'm going to look it up right now because
I want to
hold on.
Hang on. I'm going to like
I can almost
quickly.
Okay, let's speculate.
I'm
My guess
okay.
is he's trying to slip his way back into the royal fold and bring cameras and mine more information for future whatever.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say it's to plant microphones in the Windsor Chapel so that he can get more material for his future Netflix documentaries. Now, I'm not saying that I think that's true. I think that's what Amanda Platel thinks.
Yes. Forgive the cynicism, but given his form, I'd say that this is utter tosh. Quote, Harry and his scheming wife, Meghan, always have an eye for a headline and must have known of the anniversary as well as the potential publicity garnered by the solitary prince being in the chapel. Shut up. What do you mean? They must have known about the anniversary. Yeah, no shit.
Well, Will and Kate must have known about the anniversary when they visited a women's institute and banked on Queen Elizabeth's legacy.
A timely reminder to everyone, perhaps, that he is the fifth in line to the throne, given that his royal status is the Sussexes' only currency for, you guessed it, making money. And obviously, he's looking to upstage his brother because this event, the Well Child Award, doesn't happen like every year in September.
Literally.
You absolute garbage human being. I'm sorry. This kind of stuff, you're soulless. You're soulless for writing this kind of stuff about someone.
Yeah.
You're disgusting.
This one has really gotten under your skin, Meredith.
I am just so sick of these people. Yeah. I've had it. We're in eclipse season, okay?
Yeah. Let's get through our last couple of stories here.
Yeah,
we gotta move. Very sick
we gotta move on. Can we move on to like dogs or something? Dogs on the couch, dogs on pillows.
So glad you asked. One thing I'm sick of that keeps coming up every year. This is another grift related to Queen Elizabeth II's death that I would love to see die. Fergie and the corgis. Every year, without fail, either on Queen Elizabeth's birthday or her death anniversary, Fergie will post a picture of those dang corgis, and she did it again this year. As a reminder, after Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022, her remaining corgis, she had 2 at the time of her death out of the 30 she allegedly owned and raised over her lifetime. The remaining 2 corgis, Sandy and Mick, would live with Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson at Royal Lodge. They were originally gifts to the Queen from the Ferguson couple, so they were basically going back to the people who had presented them to the Queen. She does interviews about these dogs. She posts pictures of the dogs. She does photo shoots with the dogs for People magazine. If we want to talk about capitalizing on the Queen's legacy, this is the most egregious. She did an interview. I can't find the clip because I think we scrubbed it from online because we realized it was a bad look. On This Morning, a morning show in 2023, she had a pet psychic come on and tell her that the 2 corgis have, quote, adapted really well to being with you, Sarah. But I feel like one of them in particular is really linked to you and keeps following you around and looking for reinsurance all the time. She believed the dogs were, quote, feeling grief, but that Sarah is handling it really well. The psychic also Psychic also said one of the dog's diets was slightly off, and they felt like their tummy was a bit bloated.
A dog following a person around is wild.
Well, Sarah has also spoken about the fact that sometimes the dogs will just bark at nothing, and she thinks that that's the queen's spirit.
The queen is visiting that house to say, "Get the hell out of this."
Get out!
I'm trying to haunt the house. I'm trying to haunt the house.
Bumps.
I'm trying to do like the Matilda thing and get you out of this house. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. She called the dogs national icons. So every time they run chasing a squirrel, I panic. Why?
If you want to look at the biggest grifter that ever grifted, you just have to look at Sarah Ferguson and what she has done since leaving the royal family, kind of. I mean, the griftiest. She had a line in America called the Duchess Originals, a play on the Duchy Originals. Give me a break.
Yeah. So there's your little update on what Sarah and the Corgis are up to 3 years on, because we all needed that, right?
Thank you.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going to end with what? And we have two little whats, including an update on last week's what? That's hard to do. So first of all, there was a little snafu that makes me think that Buckingham Palace uses ChatGPT because last month they put out a birthday post for Princess Anne's 75th.
Again, Princess Anne's birthday is the longest birthday that ever birthdayed, because why are we still talking about this? Why did we start talking about it 3 months ago? I have no clue. I don't even know when her birthday is at this point.
Nope. No idea. She does have Leo energy, though. Hold on. I'm going to look up when Princess Anne's birthday is.
Because I swear to God, we were talking about it earlier in the summer because she had some sort of event at the palace, like in honor of her 75th birthday. And when that happened, I was like, oh, her birthday must
August
be soon.
15th.
No, it was August. And we're
She's
still
a Leo,
here
right?
in September.
She's a Leo.
Probably.
Nice. Wait. What is August 15th?
Someone actually said, well, Princess Anne.
Yeah, she's a Leo.
Someone actually said recently with Kate's hair transformation, well, Princess Anne tried new hair recently. So, like, Kate probably thought she could get away with it, too. I'm like, Anne didn't try new hair. She put it in a bun for a portrait.
It was revolutionary. It was the first time in 30 years she had done something different with her hair, but let's calm down here. So the problem was, though, Buckingham Palace's birthday announcement was 75 things that maybe you didn't know about Princess Anne.
Crazy.
And I think that they didn't know, the person who wrote it on the comms team, or some poor intern did not know 75 things about Princess Anne and decided to chat GPT a little bit. And suddenly mystery stepchildren were added.
That's wild.
The Mirror picked up on this and got a screenshot before it was removed. But one of the points was that she has stepchildren. She has Tim or Tom and Amy Lawrence. News, I think, to Anne.
And Tim. Yeah, these children do not exist.
Nope, they sure don't. So they just added in stepchildren, and
that
really
does sound
think
like a chat GPT.
It sounds so chat GPT. That's what I think most likely happened here is they didn't know. And that's why I say, don't do this whole 75 things to ask me or know about me, like the magazine format. Just ask Anne what's in her purse.
That would be so good. I bet it is 75 things, like a candy wrapper, a paper clip in case her hair falls out.
She's got a Werther's. Yeah, got the Werther's.
Yeah.
You got to have tissues once you're past a certain age. You know, you got to have those
drops,
that new
spray.
lipstick she was using to show that she was in support of William. That was the best article.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes I'm just really happy I didn't go into traditional journalism.
This could be your life, Meredith.
This could be my life. Okay.
But instead, we're here chasing updates on imaginary stepchildren.
Yeah, but instead I'm just giggling over here about stupid things. So to end things, we have a bit of an update on last week's story involving Rudy Giuliani, who apparently saved a woman from domestic violence and got into a car crash. It was a lot. So even saying that, it sounds like I'm making fun of this, and I'm not. It was the most bizarre press release.
I'm sorry.
We have seen. I heard from someone, actually, this was to our Instagram account.
Yeah.
And
we're getting tips.
Yeah. And they said, I live close to the spot where this happened. I could see the police lights. Obviously, they want anonymity. I get it. So based on the police statement and what this person saw, it is not possible for Giuliani to have called in the domestic violence incident. As they understand it, there was, in fact, a domestic violence situation being investigated by police. But this was on the southbound side of a major interstate.
Okay.
The accident with Giuliani happened on the northbound side.
Is it like a divided highway?
Yes. While The police officers were investigating the DV incident. The highway is separated by a wide median, and there are not easy places to turn around. So they can't see how it's possible that Giuliani could have been flagged down from the southbound side. Their understanding is that this is
It was
two
already
unrelated
happening.
incidents. But why even put in there? Were they like, we need a win for Giuliani, so we're going to put in that actually
I'm telling
he was
you,
trying
it was a
to
cover story for why he had a woman in his passenger seat, right? Right. And then when the reporting happened, the reports were the ones that said police were investigating a domestic violence incident in the area. So, like, it checks out, but they didn't think to be like, oh, this was already in progress.
I am living for this on the ground geographical reporting. Please, the minutia is what I live for. So you heard it here first. This is impossible.
That's the real, we should have led with that. That's
I
the
know.
real
Thank you, listener. Thank you so much. So
story here.
that is all for this episode. We covered a ton of ground, and there's still more that we could have discussed. So if you want bonus episodes, ad-free, early, all that good stuff, videos, go over to patreon.com/offwiththeirheadlines.
We will be doing discussions in the next few weeks for things like the Trump state visit to the UK, something else which I can't currently think of.
The documentary about the shaman and yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Princess Martha Louise and Shaman Durek, they have a new documentary coming out with Netflix. We will be breaking it down in a future episode, but the timing of our episodes is such that it won't be like right when the show drops. So we are going to
Amanda's also getting married, so we're doing a lot.
I got my...
Okay, we're getting married.
We are getting married. Meredith, you're at the best table in the seating chart. You're going to have so much fun.
Thank you. I am so excited. Yeah, definitely check out our Patreon. We are doing so much, and there is a lot to come once Amanda gets married.
Once I get married, but like lots of things in different forms, which is really exciting for our media landscape, right?
I like our community because, I mean, just to say, during the With Love Megan, the second season coming out, and the interview, it was nice to have that space where people disagreed, but you're not flipping out on people. It's not like trolls on the internet. It's a really nice space that I think we've started to create.
As the story evolved around the season, the launch of the products, and that interview coming out, like the conversation went with it. It was nice to have that space already set up as like a forum almost. So that's over on Patreon for free. You don't have to pay us any money to access the discussions over there. It's for anyone in our Patreon community, free or paid.
You definitely have to give a shout out to our press secretaries because they never have us leaving the house with some bad extensions, okay? There's
Allegedly.
no mushroom blonde hair over here, okay?
It did look a little green, didn't it? Anyway, thank you to our Patreon press secretaries, Molly, Nikki, Lulu, and Jessica. You would never advise the public that we were responding to a domestic violence incident that would be impossible for us to access on the northbound side of a highway.
Never.
And to our crown jewel, Sir Christopher. Thank you so much for your...
The baby's breath.
I'm so sorry I cut you off.
It's okay.
To the tower with me for cutting off Sir Christopher's royal title.
Send her to the tower. Christopher, Chris, can we call you Chris? Is it like Jonathan? We can't? Okay. We love you. Thank you so much. And if you want to be shouted out in this bizarre way at the end of each show, go over to Patreon.
We need to rein this in. No one's going to want to be part of this.
Nobody asked for this. I think they like it. Let us know if you like it. If you hate it, don't tell us. Anyway, that is all for this week's episode, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.